Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Escaping Reality. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Today I'm going to talk about how to prepare for an interview in an international market if you have never really gone through the process. I will try to cover what you can expect in the process, how many rounds you could potentially have, and what are the best tips and tricks to adopt to clear each round to finally get the job. So, basically, a disclaimer that I work in a tech company, but in a non tech role with some level of tech involved. So, my advice could be pretty generic. It may or may not work for you, but I think it should give you a good structure on what to expect going through each rounds and what are some good hygiene practices, best practices that you should follow in your interview process. So let's get into it today and do leave your comments in the comment section below and share your ideas, thoughts, and ask as many questions as you can, and I will try to get back to you. So, let's talk about the first round that will happen after you submit an application and if a recruiter reaches out to you to arrange a call. So, this round is basically a screening round. This person who will be speaking to you will mainly look at filtering candidates out and finding 5 to 10 candidates that they think are the best suited for the role based on the score to proceed to the next round. So they are basically the gatekeepers. They will filter out people. So you have to bring your A game to this round to show them that you have enough qualifications, enough experience, and the right attitude to proceed to the next round. So the screener will ask you about your experience so far. They will make sure that you fulfill the basic requirements of the job and that you have good experience under your wings, good skill set. So if they need you to have experience with certain tools, you need to emphasize in this round that you have that and to show your expertise in whatever the role is. So try to overwhelm the recruiter with different things that you think are a good fit for the role. And you don't have to go into explaining all of that because the recruiter does not have specialization in the role related knowledge. They basically have good understanding of if you qualify or if it's basically a checklist to make sure that you have the prerequisites that are required. So when you show that you know quite a bit and that you have worked a lot and have a lot of experience, this helps the screener understand that, okay, this person knows what they're talking about and they might be a good fit to proceed to the next round. This is also the right place to ask the screener about questions related to compensation, benefits, understand if this role is a right fit for you. So it's not just them assessing you, but you are also assessing if this role is a good fit for you. It could be in terms of salary, it could be in terms of projects, it could be based on like which direction you want to go into. You could ask about the company's culture and you could ask more things that are important to you as well. You should avoid asking these in the following rounds because those are mainly hiring managers and they usually don't have the right answers for you based on like compensation. They are just seeing that if you're a good fit in the team. So reserve all your questions for the screener and go with a list and try to get through this round first. Second round will most likely be with a hiring manager or someone who works within the company as an employee in the related role that you are applying to. So, if I'm applying to an account manager role in a company, most likely my interview will be with the sales manager of the team who is looking to hire someone or for in addition to their own team or a parallel team. They will basically try to assess your knowledge related to the role. For example, they will see how many years of experience you have. If I'm applying for an account manager role, how do you manage clients? How do you adapt to different situations? How do you hit your targets? How do you make revenue for your company? If it's a senior role that I'm applying for, they will also look for leadership skills. So, how do you prioritize your team? How do you contribute to team initiatives? They will give you situational questions. So, say if your team has not hit target, what will you do in that case? How will you motivate someone in your team? How will you resolve a conflict? So, they will basically assess your role related knowledge. How do you solve different business cases, business situations, and how do you approach these in a systematic manner? And also, how do you show good leadership skills, good team building skills, and contribute towards your own personal growth? So, here you talk about all the initiatives you have taken in your company. You talk about different situations. You talk about how have you resolved them and what is the result out of it. So great method that you must have heard a lot is called STAR, STAR, where S stands for situation. So you explain your situation like I had to solve this problem in this time. Then you talk about what were your tasks. My tasks were to create a presentation, to do this, then what actions you took to solve those, and then finally what was the result and outcome of these actions that you took and how they contributed to both your learnings and the other stakeholders as well. So this is a round where you need structure, where you need to prepare a lot. You need to go through a bunch of questions and be able to answer them. You need to collect your thoughts, go in an order, maintain a structure. Sometimes I feel like I may ramble or I may go off topic when someone is asking me a question, but it is really important to like bring it all together and make sure you tie up the question to the very end. So if they are asking you a very specific question, how do you do this? You should end the answer by saying, this is how I eventually achieve this, to show them that you have good structure and you are an organized person and you have a good command over your field and your knowledge and you are able to communicate it well. It is also important to ask clarifying questions if you have doubts about what the question is. So sometimes it can be a very vague question. So, say a hiring manager asks you, how do you deal with ambiguity? Now, this in itself is a very ambiguous question. So, you can ask clarifying questions. What do you mean by ambiguity? Is it like suddenly the team has changed or suddenly the goals have changed? Is there new technology that I don't know? So you can ask clarifying questions to show that you are thinking this through and then you are coming up with answers that are well thought out and are not just vague and not related to the question that is being asked. Sometimes in some roles, they might also give you assignments to do to see your knowledge of the role. So if you are a software engineer, you may have a problem to solve. If I work as a ads and marketing person, I may be given data to review and read and understand how would I optimize from that data that I have. And there could be different kind of projects you may get and you will have about 2 or 3 days to solve it and then submit it back. And sometimes you have a follow-up presentation for that information that you have given to the client. So you will be basically presenting how you solved the problem, how you approached it, the logic you used behind each of the problems, and then how did you eventually solve it. So this could be a third optional round depending on each interview process. So you may have to be prepared for it. And if you're already in a job, you may have to take out time after your workday ends to then work on this assignment and be sure to give it your best to show that you have good understanding of the role that you are applying for. Then we may also have a cultural fit round. So there they see that are you a good fit to the culture. So every company has its own culture they emphasize. So they may want to see if you can take ownership, if you can work independently or in a team. How do you prioritize success for yourself and for others? How do you manage stakeholders? So here again, you may have to show examples that show that you have good leadership skills, you are empathetic, do you know how to manage people around you? How would you approach a problem? How will you make a difficult decision? How will you resolve conflict? How do you make take initiatives in your team that can help everyone? So all these things basically help you help them see if you're a good cultural fit for the team and if you align with their values. If you have cleared the first 2 or 3 rounds until the project, then the cultural fit round is very close to the end, where they are making sure that you might be very close to getting the offer. And by then, they have probably filtered out other people, and very few people qualify to the final stages. And then, as a final round, you may meet with some senior teams or senior person in your organization, or it could also be people who are in a similar role parallel to you. So, could be like a team member. So, this again depends on the company. You may also meet someone from a different team altogether. So, if you are in sales, you might meet with a product marketing team just to see how you can probably evolve and grow in the role at a later stage. And they will also try to assess how committed to you are to a company. How do you see yourself growing in the company? What kind of questions you are asking in the interview process to show how eager you are. So there is a lot that can happen. An interview is extremely dynamic. You need to find your tone of voice, how you approach problems. You need to prepare. You need to prepare to speak. You need to prepare to think in a structure, be able to organize your thoughts. Sometimes they may ask you a question that is not even related to your role, and it can make you really anxious approaching those questions. But you need to align what the role requires. So there is a reason they may be asking you that question. So find a way that you can align it to the role, to your skill set, and then bring it all together in an organized, well thought out structure that you can then align with the role and deliver as a good answer. You should highlight result and impact. You should use numbers to quantify all the work you have done. For example, me saying I have managed a team and delivered revenue year on year and hit target each quarter is not as effective as saying I managed a team of 10 people and we had a revenue target of 1 million each quarter, and I have successfully pushed my team to deliver this role, and we have been growing our baseline by 20% quarter over quarter. So that shows that you have done tangible work, you have a good understanding of the role, and you are driven by results and you want to grow as an individual also. So I hope these tips are of value. And I wish that everyone who is interviewing, you learn from the process. You will face rejections. You will have really good interviews where you reach till the final stage and still may not get it. So a lot of factors come into play. But giving interviews is a good way to practice and to understand where you stand in the market and also gain confidence to tackle different questions that can come up during the entire process. So, all the best to everyone who is looking for jobs, who's already in a job but is looking for a new opportunity. I hope you found my tips of value. I can go into more specific details of the process, talk about different questions that one can expect. But these were my golden tips in a short video to help you through the process. So if you like this content, do like, share, subscribe, comment below, and I shall get back to you in the next one.